This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. Lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles podcast. My name is Daniel Smrokowski. I'm the founder and host of Special Chronicles, an EnergyForce ambassador with ComEd, and a Southern Tribal Global Messenger alum with Special Olympics. Our website, specialchronicles.com. We can follow us on socials and wherever you get your podcasts. This week on the Special Chronicles podcast, EnergyForce Series, Season 7 finale. That's right, Pt10. Our topic is the ComEd Financial Assistance Program, and our guest this week is Linda Rhodes, Senior Manager of Customer Assistance and Advocacy with ComEd. Joins us to talk about customers' frequently asked questions, perhaps a lot of questions that you listening might have as well, all about the financial assistance and how ComEd can help you with paying your ComEd bill. Please put your virtual hand together as we welcome Linda on the Special Chronicles podcast and our EnergyForce Series. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you.
Awesome. It's good to have you on the program. And for those listening in, if you want to get access to that bonus content of what it took Linda and I to when we were adjusting the camera and see all of that behind the scenes. If you all join at specialchronicles.com/plus, you all can start at $10 a month and up, or really any donation, you all can see that bonus footage that is only available to those of you that support this podcast. But Linda, it's good to have you on the program. I think we had a 30-minute phone call last week just to kind of talk through this podcast, because this is a new, just like some of the other topics on this EnergyForce series have been new to me, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are just learning about some more ways, not only how ComEd can help with saving energy, can help the customer with going solo, but this particular financial assistance, I think, is a new topic that we're just introducing to our listeners. And so, first, why don't you briefly share with us your role with ComEd, and then we'll get into I've got some additional questions that I'm sure a lot of the listeners are curious about. But first, tell us a little bit about your role at ComEd, and yeah.
Sounds good. First of all, Daniel, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here and very happy to be talking with your listeners and sharing information. My name is Linda Rhodes. I am the Senior Manager of Customer Assistance and Advocacy at ComEd, and my role involves leading a team who works very hard to help customers pay their bill. And we try to be creative about that. There are different programs that are out there, and then we also work hard to come up with programs, but we're all about helping customers to be able to afford their bill so that they can keep taking advantage of the energy, the electricity that's delivered to them.
Awesome. And before we get into some of those, what I like to call frequently asked questions, because it seems like some of the questions that you told me about that we're going to be talking about on the episode today is kind of frequently, a lot of maybe most commonly asked questions. But first, how do you know any of the, and I probably should have told you this, or asked you this in the pre-show, but I guess how long has ComEd been having this ability of providing assistance or providing financial assistance to customers? Do you have any knowledge on the background of of how long ComEd has been assisting customers in this way?
That's a really good question. I know that for at least 12 years, there's been internal programs by ComEd to help customers with their bills. What I would have to look up, because I don't know for sure, is how long the state program for assistance has been in place. So
Okay.
my guess is that's probably been in place for a lot longer.
Awesome. Well, we'll get into a little bit more about if our listeners are wondering if you are unable to pay your ComEd bill and have questions about that, as well as questions about the budget billing program. We'll get into that after this first quick break right here. We'll be back with Linda Rhodes, Senior Manager, Customer Assistance and Advocacy, after this quick break, to let you all know that support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. Please join our supporters with a monthly or one-time donation so we can operate our studio and continue our mission to give respect and voice to those of us with disabilities. You can visit specialchronicles.com/plus to join and get access to our exclusive bonus content, the pre-show with our guest, and getting the camera and everything set up. specialchronicles.com/plus. And with that, Linda, I'm sure a lot of our listeners will probably be wondering, with a lot of the costs of everything going up, with food costs going up and groceries and gas and a lot of costs, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are wondering, well, what can they as customers do if they are asked to pay a deposit by ComEd and they cannot pay it? But can you shed some light into how ComEd can help with customers unable to pay their bill?
Yes, I can. So as it relates to deposits, I would encourage all customers who are having some trouble with paying it to ask whomever they're talking to at ComEd. Often it's with one of our customer service representatives, but ask them whether they're eligible, whether they can have their deposit waived, meaning not have to pay it. Now, there's a program that a lot of customers are not aware of, and it's a program that came with a law that was put into place a couple of years ago. And that law says that if you are eligible, you don't have to pay a deposit. But if you don't know about it, you don't know to ask about it, and you don't know to apply. So I would encourage folks, if they're in a position where they're being asked to pay a deposit and that's a problem,
Oh, I think we're back.
Okay. Did you lose me for a second?
We're back.
Okay. Did you lose a second?
Yeah, I think we lost you just a little bit. I'm making note of the timestamp bill. Can you repeat I'll try to edit that out, but repeat what your answer?
Yes. So if a customer is asked to pay it, and that's a problem, encourage them to ask the customer agent to check to see if they have to pay it. There's a program that allows to not have to pay it. And if the customer is eligible, they sign up. And they not only don't have to pay the deposit, but they also would have to pay a late payment charge if they ever receive one. So yes, that's what I would encourage. Ask if they're eligible to have the deposit waived.
Awesome. And I'm sure another kind of follow up on that, a lot of our listeners might be wondering, what if my bill is too high for me for some months, but okay for some other months? Like, I'm sure, like, especially whether it's summer or winter or months, like some people, like, depending on if they go on vacations in the summer but not necessarily in winter, or maybe vacations in the winter and not that much in the summer or fall or spring, if they are wondering if the bill is too high for some months, but okay for some other months. You had told me in the pre-show something about the budget billing program and usage alerts. This might tie in with that. Can you shed some light on this?
Yes. Both of those programs are what I would recommend. So the budget billing program is one that if a customer signs up, it provides the customer with a predictable monthly bill for 12 months. So instead of having a spike during the winter or the summer, as you said, the budget billing program will spread their payments out. And that way they know exactly how much their bill will be each month. In fact, many years ago, I had to do that with my gas bill. And it comes in handy. So, and then that way you won't have this tremendous bill that's hard to pay. You have a predictable bill each month. So that's number one. And then to your point, there's something customers, I encourage all of them to sign up for called high usage alerts. And that's where your usage is already known by ComEd. And so if you sign up for high usage alerts, you will get an alert, say to your phone, to whichever phone number you provided, you'll get a text, and it'll alert you to how much more energy you're using than you usually use. You might not be able to make a change to the amount of increased energy you're using because maybe you're using more because someone had to move into your home for a while, and so now you're using more energy. But you might have an opportunity to do something different to lower that amount. So that's another thing that you can sign up for to help arm you, give you the information to make a change to bring your bill down so you don't have the big spikes.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we get back, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are wondering if they're for again this next segment will only probably apply to our Illinois listeners, because as I'm sure with the podcast, as you can imagine, we have listeners across the country, across the globe. But for those listening in the Illinois, particularly the Northern Illinois, Chicago area, you might be wondering if there are any state programs, and so we'll let you know that after this quick break, to let you all know that support for Special Chronicles comes from the ComEd EnergyForce Ambassador Program. As you can guess from this series, the EnergyForce Ambassador Program is the country's first energy and solar efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. Learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd, at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. And it's also brought to you in support from United Airlines, Bridge Disability Business Resource Group, connecting people of all abilities. Learn more on United's commitment to disability inclusion for employment and travel at specialchronicles.com/United, specialchronicles.com/United. And I wanted to quickly just mention before we come back to this next segment to let you all listening know that in these sponsorship ads, whether it's with ComEd or with United Airlines, we cannot offer you any discounted on flights with United or any discounts on your ComEd bill. But what we can do is let you know of the services where, for example, with United Airlines, how they are disability accessible and inclusive airline, as well as with ComEd, like what we're talking about today, how ComEd can help you, like with the topic today. So we probably should put some of those disclaimers out there. Linda, by the time our listeners hear this episode, we are approaching the Thanksgiving holiday, as well as the holiday season, where there's a lot of the ComEd sponsored holiday lights events, and I'm sure a lot of people might be using some more energy and more electricity during this holiday time, and so perhaps that's a perfect kind of tie-in with the state program. So, what if I need help paying my bill? Can you shed some light in and maybe if there's any connection with this state program coming out around the holiday, Thanksgiving and holiday time frame? Is there any connection there? And then what whatever a customer needs help paying their bill.
Okay, thank you for that question.
Okay, thank you
So,
for the question.
yes, there is a tie to
There is the
the
tie
time of year,
to the
not necessarily due to
not necessarily due to
the weather getting cold
the
and
weather
people
getting
using more
cold
heat.
and people using more heat.
State in Illinois administers
In
a
Illinois,
program
there's a
called
program
Low Income
called
Home Energy
Home
Assistance Program
Energy
or
Assistance
LIHEAP.
Program, LIHEAP.
It used to
You
lovingly
would
be
used
called a
to
heating
lovingly be
program
called a heating
because of
program
when it starts.
because of
It
when
usually
it
starts in the
starts.
fall
Usually
and it
starts in the
continues until
fall
the
and it
following spring
continues until
unless the
spring
money runs out
unless the money runs out
before spring.
before
So
spring.
you mentioned you
So
have listeners
mention
from
you
all
have
over.
listeners from all
I'd
over.
be remiss if I didn't
Remiss
say
if I didn't
this
say
is a federal
this is a
program. There's
federal
some state
program. There's
dollars
some
that
state
fund it,
dollars that fund it,
but there are also federal.
but there
It's a
are also
federal
federal.
program.
It's a federal program.
So it may have a
It
different
may have a
name,
different
other
name,
parts of the
other
country,
parts of the
but
country,
it
but
is a
it
program
is a
that's
program
available
that's
across the
available
country.
across the country.
And so I
And so I
encourage
encourage
anyone who has
anyone
trouble
who has
paying their
trouble
bill
paying their bill
to
to
consult with
consult
ComEd
with ComEd
or go directly
or
to
go
the
directly
state.
to the
They have
state.
a
They have a
website as well.
website as well.
But to find
But to
out if
find out,
they're eligible for LIHEAP, because LIHEAP provides them with money to help pay their bill.
Awesome. Awesome. And speaking of, I'm sure a lot of our listeners some of them might know how to get in touch with ComEd, whether it's through the ComEd app or through the social media channels or through the phone number that I'm sure there's contact information on the bill of how to get in touch with ComEd. But can you, and maybe that's the perfect answer for them, but if, I guess from in your role with the customer assistance and advocacy, to kind of jump off of what you just said, if customers have questions on if they qualify with the state the state program and that if they have questions on that as well as any other customer assistance questions, can you point them to? We'll put. For those watching the video, we'll put only one link on the screen. But for those of you listening to the audio podcast or watching the video, we're going to put two links in the description of this podcast episode. But can you share with us how our listeners can get in touch with ComEd if they have their questions about the state program or just any customer assistance related questions?
Yes.
yes.
So I would encourage customers who have access to the internet via phone, computer, whichever way, you might access the internet to go to comed.com/SAM, which thank you, Daniel, for having that on the screen. SAM stands for Smart Assistance Manager. The reason we like SAM is because it's a one-stop shop. So there's financial assistance information there. There's energy management, so energy efficiency information. And it asks the customer a few questions about themselves, like household size, for example, and income information we don't save. But once you put that information in there, it gives you a list of for what you may be eligible and how to apply. So that's a good location. And then, as you mentioned, another location is comed.com/payment assistance. And for those who prefer to call our call center, our care center, it's 1-800-EDISON-1. So those are three ways to reach us to get information about assistance. And I should sneak one more program in. I talked about the state-administered federal program, LIHEAP, but there's also a ComEd program called Your Neighbor Fund, and you'll find that also on SAM and Payment Assistance. It's a program like any other that is available until the money is exhausted. But we love this program because we're helping each other. We're helping our neighbors. So it's funded by donations from people. So this is an opportunity. There were quite a number of ComEd employees last year who donated to this program, very interested in helping customers pay their bill. that is exactly what we're doing again this year, in addition to some external donations. So Your Neighbor Fund is another program customers will see on SAM, or if they call 1-800-EDISON-1.
Awesome. So I will make sure to put if after we're done recording, if you I know you sent me those 2 links, but also the phone number. If you put if you email me, I'll make sure to. And for those of you listening, if you guys are driving or walking and are listening to this podcast and don't have time to write it down, I'll make sure to put those links and phone number in the description of this podcast episode. And as well as Linda, for you and all of our listening out there know, I have one page of resources on our website, specialchronicles.com/ComEd, and I'll make sure to add these customer assistance resources. I've over the years of doing this EnergyForce series, have collected a bunch of resources that ComEd has in one related to this podcast series, and so I'll make sure to add those. For those of you listening, can also head on over to specialchronicles.com/ComEd, and I'll make sure to add these customer assistance information on there as well. With that, I know the time, we're about 21 minutes. The time has flown by, but we try to keep it nice and easy chunks of information for you listening to not, I think this past spring around Oath Day and Arbor Day, we ended up doing a 1-hour episode all about trees, but that was just one of the staff and I forgot which department he was in, but he was passionate about trees, and so we ended up doing a 1-hour episode. It's titled "Trees for You and Me," and so that was maybe a little longer, but
I like that.
Yeah, we try to, but it's nice. I think what I found, and I'm sure you can go back and listen for those of you listening to other. We have over 40 episodes on our EnergyForce series, which somewhere I've got that. It just flew by me. Specialchronicles.com/EnergyForce. We've got tons of other topics related to energy and solar efficiency. And this episode will be added on there, the season 7 finale episode of this series. So tons of content for you with other ComEd staff and EnergyForce ambassadors that you all can find. And so with that, we got 2 final bits of the episode to wrap up with. Do you have any, before we get to the final question, Linda, do you have any final thoughts on your overall time here today on the Special Chronicles podcast that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, it's my main thought, and I thought about that, is a kudos to you. It's a kudos to you and the team for this platform. We're always at ComEd looking for ways to get the message out about programs that help, that provide assistance, and it's hard to find a way to expand our reach sometimes. So I want to kind of tip my hat to you and your team for this platform and this opportunity. So I wanted to share that.
Thank you, and I'll make sure to. I've got a very, very, very small team, but I'll make sure to let my team know that how your comments, and because it's really gratifying. A lot of times it's just me here in the studio, but it's gratifying that not only you as a guest, but also our listeners I hear all the time of how, whether it's related to this series or just the stories and conversations around those of us with disabilities, where people are able to either learn about energy efficiency or just overall have a better inclusion and acceptance of those of us with disabilities. So it's gratifying that this platform is making an impact. 16 years later, after 16 years of podcasting.
I'm sure it's getting better and better each year, I bet.
It is. And in fact, this month, by the time our listeners hear this, is our 16th anniversary. It was 16 years ago that I first put out the first podcast episode. And so,
Congratulations in advance.
Thank you. It's in advance of the time that we're recording this.
Good point.
Congratulations of actual listeners hearing this. Yeah. So with that, we got one final bumper, and so we've got a bumper. So let's go ahead and roll that bumper and introduce the final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
equality,
dignity,
and the recognition of our shared humanity.
We will not stop.
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
More divided than ever.
Coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
Ever since, Linda, I've attended the 2019 Special Olympics World Games in Abu Dhabi. I've been asking all guests one plan a question, and I think it gets to the heart. We don't just want listeners to consume this content, but to take action and actually learn and take inclusion into their communities. Of course, this EnergyForce Series is educational, but also we want our listeners to take action into their communities. And so, like I've been doing the past 5-6 years, I'll ask you as well, what does inclusion mean to you? You can either relate it to ComEd or just in the community as well. What does inclusion mean to you?
I appreciate and love that question. And I'll have to say that my answer applies everywhere for me. Community, ComEd, where my family. But what inclusion means to me is valuing all voices and valuing all contributions. Honestly, that's what it means to me. So the way I look at it is, if I invite people with many different opinions, different abilities to a conversation or to an activity, that's great. But if I don't listen to them, if I don't value their voices, if I don't value their contributions, that's not inclusion. So we all bring different experiences and perspectives and abilities to this world. So the way I view it is, the world would be an even better place if we respected the reality that there are so many differences in our experiences and opinions. If we all respected that reality and valued all these voices and contributions, we would make this world an even better place.
Awesome. Well, that's a perfect way to wrap up this episode. And I know I'm working on a project with somebody at United Airlines that, outside of my day jobs, but
yes.
I can't publicly talk about it yet because we're still in the process of this. But it's this, your answer I'm going to have to share with one of my colleagues, because it will it helps to clarify why this other project that we're working on, it helps to clarify like truly what inclusion means. So thank you for that answer.
Wow.
And for those of you listening, just a few final plugs at the end of this episode. You can, if you want to get access to that bonus content and see when the moment that Linda jumped into this virtual studio and see us adjust the camera and get everything set up, you can make a monthly or one-time donation, either starting at $10 a month or really any donation. You can join now at specialchronicles.com/plus. And hopefully we are working on a storytelling workshop for the EnergyForce, one of the upcoming EnergyForce meetings. And hopefully we will, by the time this episode goes live, we're gonna. Our plan is to make that available to to those of you that join right now at specialchronicles.com/plus. If you want to shop a merchandise store, I'm not wearing it today because I am wearing the ComEd branded, but we have our Disabled Voices Matter t-shirt. Actually, I do have it on. It's underneath the t-shirt that I'm sweating in, but it's our Disabled Voices Matter line of merch. If you go to specialchronicles.com/shop, and Linda, you can go there as well. If you guys go on over to specialchronicles.com/shop, 60% of the profits go back to Special Chronicles. We have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs. Specialchronicles.com/shop is where you all can go to really show your support for Special Chronicles. And tap that follow button. New episodes drop every month. We've got some exciting episodes, both coming up as well as in the past that you all can listen to. In fact, by the time you all hear this, there was 2 top people at United Airlines, which is a major U.S. airline, 2 top people that I am, just because of the time that we're recording this, I am we're still trying to book them on, but hopefully by the time you all hear this, the episode would have been live at the end of October. So that's why it's kind of a weird thing. But 2 top people that really will be impressed. Linda, the reason why I'm not saying anything because we're recording this before I have I'm hoping. So just you guys stay tuned or go back and hopefully listen to, hopefully that's live. So until then, Linda, our guest has been Linda Rhodes, Senior Manager, Customer Assistance and Advocacy. Thank you, Linda, for taking the time and educating our listeners on the Customer Assistance Program.
Thank you, and thank you to the listeners for their attention and for participating in this forum.
Awesome. And until then, everyone, have a great week. And remember, choose to include. We'll catch you next week right here, same time, same place.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smrokowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes absolutely for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks as always to our business manager, Adam Smrokowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smrokowski, back next week with more stories.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I don't usually do this, but this is just a quick after show to show you, Linda, as well as our listeners. I am actually, my mic is blocking it, but I am displaying our Disabled Voices Matter t-shirt. It's also on a hoodie and coffee mug too, but this is what it took us a year, all of last year. Yeah, it took us a year with the business that we're working with to come up with this design. And so this is what it looks like. So that is what you all can go to specialchronicles.com/shop to get. So thanks. Yeah, here we go. And